In the vast reaches of space, among the swirling galaxies and distant stars, there existed a powerful coalition of alien races known as the Galactic Alliance. For millennia, the Alliance had stood as a beacon of peace and prosperity, uniting countless worlds under its banner and safeguarding the galaxy from threats both internal and external. But now, a shadow loomed on the horizon, a dark and malevolent force that threatened to engulf the galaxy in chaos and destruction. This force, known only as the Void, was a mysterious and enigmatic enemy that had emerged from the depths of space, intent on conquering all in its path. The Void was unlike anything the Galactic Alliance had ever faced before. Its armies were vast and relentless, sweeping across the galaxy like a tidal wave, leaving devastation in their wake. Entire planets were laid to waste, their populations enslaved or eradicated without mercy. As the forces of the Void continued their relentless advance, the Galactic Alliance found itself pushed to the brink of extinction. Despite their best efforts, they were unable to stem the tide of destruction, and it seemed as though all hope was lost. But amidst the chaos and despair, a glimmer of hope remained. For there was one race, one species that had the strength, the resilience, and the sheer ferocity to stand against the forces of the Void, the Terrans, also known as the human space orcs. The Terrans had long been feared and respected throughout the galaxy for their warrior culture and indomitable spirit. Born and bred on the harsh, unforgiving world of Earth, they were a race of survivors, hardened by centuries of conflict and struggle. And now, as the galaxy teetered on the brink of annihilation, it was up to the Terrans to lead the charge against the forces of the Void. With their unmatched combat skills and unwavering determination, they rallied the remnants of the Galactic Alliance and prepared to face their enemy head-on. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The forces of the Void were vast and relentless, but the Terrans fought with a ferocity and determination that bordered on madness. They waged war against the enemy with a reckless abandon, throwing themselves into the fray with no thought for their own safety. In the midst of the chaos and devastation wrought by the Void, there emerged a figure unlike any other, a lone Terran warrior known simply as Captain Jackson Stormheart. Tall and imposing, with a rugged face weathered by years of battle, Captain Stormheart was a living legend among his people, revered for his unmatched combat skills and unwavering determination. Clad in a suit of gleaming armor adorned with intricate runes and symbols, Captain Stormheart stood at the forefront of the battle against the forces of the Void, his trusty plasma rifle gripped firmly in his hands. His eyes blazed with a fierce determination as he surveyed the battlefield, his mind focused solely on the task at hand. As the enemy forces advanced, Captain Stormheart leaped into action, leading his fellow Terrans into the heart of the fray with a thunderous battle cry that echoed across the battlefield. With his plasma rifle blazing, he cut through the ranks of the Void with a deadly precision, his movements a blur of speed and agility as he danced between enemy attacks. But even as Captain Stormheart fought with all his might, he knew that victory would not come easily. The forces of the Void were relentless, their numbers seemingly endless, and for every enemy he struck down, two more seemed to take its place. As the battle raged on, Captain Stormheart found himself face to face with a towering behemoth of a creature, a hulking monstrosity with razor-sharp claws and eyes that burned with a malevolent fire. With a roar that shook the ground beneath their feet, the creature charged at Captain Stormheart with murderous intent, its claws slashing through the air with deadly precision. But Captain Stormheart was undaunted. With a fierce battle cry, he met the creature head-on, his plasma rifle blazing as he unleashed a barrage of energy blasts that struck the creature square in the chest. With a deafening roar of pain, the creature staggered back, its monstrous form writhing in agony as Captain Stormheart pressed his advantage, raining blow after blow upon its massive frame. But even as he fought, Captain Stormheart knew that victory was far from assured. The creature was powerful, far more powerful than any foe he had faced before, and it seemed to draw strength from the very depths of the Void itself. But Captain Stormheart was not one to back down from a challenge. With a fierce determination burning in his eyes, he pressed on, refusing to give up even in the face of overwhelming odds. And as he fought with all his might, he knew that no matter what happened, he would never stop fighting for the galaxy he called home. As the battle raged on, the Terrans proved themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. They struck fear into the hearts of their enemies, cutting a swathe of destruction through the ranks of the Void with their brutal efficiency. But even as the Terrans fought with all their might, the forces of the Void seemed inexhaustible. For every enemy they struck down, two more seemed to take its place, and it soon became clear that victory would not come easily. In the end, it was not through sheer force of arms that the Terrans emerged victorious, but through their unyielding determination and unwavering courage. They refused to back down in the face of overwhelming odds, fighting on until the very end, until the forces of the void were driven back and the galaxy was safe once more. And so, as the dust settled and the smoke cleared, the Terrans stood victorious, hailed as heroes throughout the galaxy. They had faced the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known and emerged triumphant, proving once and for all that the human space orcs were a force to be reckoned with. With the defeat of the Void, the Galactic Alliance was saved from destruction, and the galaxy began to slowly rebuild from the devastation wrought by the war. The Terrans, hailed as saviors and heroes, were celebrated throughout the galaxy for their bravery and sacrifice. But even as peace returned to the galaxy, the Terrans knew that the threat of the Void was not truly gone. They had merely been driven back for now, lurking in the depths of space, waiting for the opportunity to strike once more. And so, the Terrans remained vigilant, ever watchful for any signs of the Void's return. They knew that they could never rest easy as long as their enemies still lurked in the shadows, biding their time and gathering their strength for the next assault. In the aftermath of the war, the Terrans forged strong alliances with the other races of the Galactic Alliance, sharing their knowledge and technology to strengthen the defenses of the galaxy against future threats. They trained together, fought together, and stood united as one against any who would seek to harm their newfound peace. But despite their best efforts, the Terrans knew that they could never truly erase the threat of the Void. They remained ever vigilant, knowing that the galaxy would always be a dangerous and unpredictable place, where new enemies could emerge at any moment. And so, as they sailed among the stars, the Terrans remained ever ready to protect the galaxy from any who would seek to harm it. For they knew that the duty as guardians of the galaxy was never truly done, and that they would always be the first line of defense against any who would seek to threaten the peace and prosperity of the galaxy.